Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Rome Cleaver Stolly Sandbags binding of choice. I rode this binding at Arapahoe Basin in the preseason on a day that was a mix of blue to gray skies. There was moderate sustained winds at the top, there was ice, chunder, firm corduroy, soft creamy corduroy, little slush on the lower mountain, and I rode it on my Telos Mike Aranquit snowboard with my K2 Thraxis boots. Alright, so let's go over the adjustability on this binding because there's a lot. First off, you got 4 screws that hold the heel cup to the base tray so you can adjust it whether you want to go a little bit wider for a longer boot or push it in for a shorter boot. So you've got that going on. You can also adjust the toe ramp by basically popping it from the back, sliding it forward, sliding it back, getting that dialed in with where you need it to be on there. There's push pins on the toe strap, so you push down, you can line it up where you need to be. On the heel strap, you do have the pivot mount, so you can actually set that higher or lower based on where your instep is, and it does help you kind of move it around in there. You can also rotate the high back, so you can just move that around in the little track in there to angle it so that it's square with that heel edge. And there is a canting option on this binding, so it's 3 and 6 degrees, so you can just angle the offset of the high back. You do have your high back forward lean as well. And let's not forget, you got your flip tabs on your toe and heel strap just to lengthen or shorten them as need be. Basically a lot of standard features, but there's a ton of them to really dial in the fit of this binding with your boot. This binding features Rome's Ox-Tech straps. So what they are is a very minimalist design. There's no padding, which is going to just decrease the ability to have any pinch points in there. It contours better across any boot shape, especially the instep and the toe. You notice that right away. When it gets around there, you're not having any of these pressure points. It's just contouring. All the padding is coming from the boot, and it allows the boot and binding straps to flex in unison together. And the tighter you make it, the stronger it actually is. You notice that right away. The toe strap fits across just about any boot shape. You don't have to worry about that. It locks in and it stays locked in. The Rome ratchets are a little bit wider. They feed easily onto the actual strap. You don't have to worry about it. They climb well. The one finger quick release does its job. I never had them slip. I never had any problems with them at all releasing. They do their job. They do their job very well. This is one of the stiffer high backs from Rome, if not the stiffest high back. It's got carbon in there. You notice right away when you push into it, there's a little bit more rebound into it. It really does a great job of just letting you drive through it and just helping with that power transmission. Overall, it's a high back. It does what you need it to do. It's there. It's going to work well. The forward lean adjustment is really easy to dial in on the fly. You don't have to worry about it. Overall, this is the stiffest binding that Rome makes. And while I've had people try to tell me that this is an overly stiff binding, it wasn't. It felt comfortable. It's definitely past middle of the road in terms of its flex, but it's not the stiffest thing that I've been on in the market in this price range and who it caters to. You notice right away that you do get a lot of lateral power out of it instead of play. So if you really like that about a binding, just note with that full wrap heel cup, you're going to get more power out of it. Overall, it's stiff, but it's predictable. It feels like a binding that you've ridden 100 times the second you get into it. You don't really have to worry about it once you have it all adjusted and dialed in. What I really like about the ride feel of this binding is that it's predictable. It just feels like a binding you've been on 100 times. You do have that new dampening pad that they've put on this, and honestly, I don't notice any difference between this and the previous D30 foam. It does its job. It does its job well. Like I said, it's predictable. This is a binding that has a lot of power in it, but when you come down on an impact, you don't feel it as much as you do with some other bindings on the market. I liked it because it was predictable. It just did what you needed to do, and it's there, and you feel secure with it. So who's this binding for? It's for the rider that demands a lot of performance and precision from their binding, but doesn't want to be overwhelmed with just stiffness. So basically the Cleaver replaces the Targa, and that's what I've been told, and I've had numerous people be like, this is the stiffest binding out there. It's not the stiffest. It's predictable in its flex. It is stiffer, but I think if you're looking for like a more performance stiff, free ride, hard charging binding, there's others out there that definitely domineer this. It's predictable, and that's one thing that I've said in this review over and over again, and that's what I like about it. You put it on and you're like, damn, okay, this is cool. You know, there's not a lot of lateral play because this does have the full wrap heel cup on it. It doesn't have the asim wrap where it's actually missing the inside, so you get more play. It's nice because you can really push that power out into the tail of the snowboard and go forward from there. It's a good binding. It's a solid binding. I enjoyed riding it. Comparable bindings: the Union Atlas, the Now Drives, the Ride C10. This has been my review of the Rome Cleaver Stale Edition. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own a pair? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this binding. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.